Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. So I was going through videos that I had up on my channel, that I've put up on my channel, and trying to figure out what movies have I seen since my last video that I did. Like, what have I not done a review for? And I was surprised I haven't done Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but then I've been gone since March, so I guess that makes sense. So for the couple people that end up watching this, which will likely happen because obviously it's been out for a while, I can say, let me go ahead and get into it. First of all, the casting itself, we have pretty much all the original cast back. Our main Guardians are back. The only difference really is that Groot is a baby, so you have that dynamic you got to deal with. But you have your main cast of characters back, and while they do flow off each other and they do feel like a family or whatever, like they established in the first film, and I've said before, I enjoy the first film. This didn't feel like it worked quite as well. Like the entire movie for me felt like it was a bit of a letdown compared to the first one, and maybe that was my expectations being too high. But on the other hand, like, the music fit with this movie better, so I'll give it that. But the music didn't connect with me personally. It wasn't as catchy. It worked for the scenes, but it didn't quite work for appealing to me. So there was that. This movie's throwing humor out there so often that it reminded me of the stand-up routines that you would see in many cases, that they would do, like the competitions that they would do where they have to just dish out one-liner, and the ones that hit, it's like, cool, they hit, but you didn't give them time to breathe because you're throwing out another line there, because you're trying to get in as much as you can within that certain window. And because it was so jokey, like, it didn't really work for me in many cases. Actually, I found this to be far less funny than the other ones. He just didn't give the jokes enough time to breathe, and the only times they really seemed to give any time for it to breathe was to take the movie down a darker tone entirely. So it felt very jarring to me. As far as your villain goes, I won't give that away again, but I think I do think this villain is a bit more fleshed out than previous villains. Although, again, the change from ally to villain kind of thing, which probably gave away something there, but that change didn't work for me fully because it just kind of happened abruptly, and then there was a line thrown in to be like, no, you gotta hate this guy. Like, we're not giving you a choice here. So I don't appreciate. I didn't like that. It didn't work with me on that. I felt some of our characters were a bit sidelined, which, I guess you're gonna get Badrax being the most notable one. Nebula was a good addition to the cast. Yondu has great moments. I'm sure you've seen the meme, Mary Poppins, y'all, and that was one of the moments that did work for me. So I appreciate that and his relationship to Star-Lord and how that progresses in this film. Again, there are some action scenes that do work for me. There's some character moments like with Nebula and Gamora that I think kind of played off, although I'll say that Nebula's acting for me, it seems like it's a bit too over the top. More so than the first one, I think, or maybe she just has more screen time now. I don't know what the deal is. But, we have Star-Lord kind of dealing with his dad and that connection with Kurt Russell. I thought there's a cheesy moment in there with the baseball, and I'm not really, again, that didn't sell me. But I do like Kurt Russell. He's a brilliant actor, so he contributed to this. I think there's a set of villains outside of our main villain, which kind of, I don't know, it somewhat worked for me, it somewhat didn't. I can't really get into it too much, but it feels like they weren't necessary to the plot, and they felt kind of like an annoyance rather than helpful to driving it forward. Um, so again, this movie was a decent movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It just was a letdown from the quality I expected out of it, given my how I received the first one. So, giving it a rating, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Again, it could have been better. Uh, it could have been better. Um, but at the same time, it wasn't so far down that I would have to rate it lower, and I probably still will get the film uh, at some point. So that's my thoughts on it. But what did you think about this movie? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you like this, and if so, click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and listen to my other vids. I do appreciate it. And until next time, peace.